G'day, gang. I wanted to talk today about art as therapy. I wrote this topic down a few times and I kept trying to work out how to approach the topic because I wanted to originally talk about writing therapeutically. But I think it's so much more than that, and this is another one of those really, really big topics that I'm only able to do a shallow dive of. So I want to hear what you guys have to think. It's a big topic. I wanted to think about how we see the characters that we enjoy watching and why they particularly resonate with us. And I think for a lot of us it is because the characters have struggles to go through, because that's the basis of the crisis in any narrative, is that they have an issue that they have to overcome. Be that in a very, very traditional and less relatable sense of having, a mortal enemy, or even an immortal one, specifically having an enemy, or if they themselves are the enemy, or if there's just life that they have to surpass to overcome. So it's a big topic. Thinking about art therapeutically, I think, can be very helpful, particularly if you create it. I think that there's a lot of studies on this, and I can't remember the conclusion of all of it, but I think one of the best, or if not the singular greatest thing you can do for your brain, learning new skills, particularly composing music. Yeah, I think that's what I remember. I'm purely going off of memory from loads of articles that I was researching years ago. As usual, I'm completely unprepared for this video and just talking at the camera, completely unprepared. I'm not completely unprepared. I did think about it, trust me. I am a thinker occasionally. But generally, learning new skills, and I think as creating art, you're always learning and honing skills in particular. So I think art therapeutically, art as therapy is just is significantly more powerful if you're creating it, but if you're enjoying it and you're finding characters that you can deeply relate to, and you can understand and see their struggle and find the strength to continue through really difficult things in life in yourself through that art or entertainment, I think, or particularly art in this case, I think that's really, really awesome. So I think the more that we go through this mental health, loneliness, huge, numerous amount of social crises, I think the more that we're going to keep gravitating towards art in particular. Entertainment is fun. Entertainment is, it's a sideline, I think. It's what gets you through the day. It's the ability to laugh and just enjoy shallow content, when I think art, the deeper, more resonating, more emotional works, I think are the things that beyond getting you through the day, they'll pick you up off the floor. Especially if you see this character that just has such a particularly heavy character break, and it's a specifically resonating one, you can just completely lose yourself in it and walk out as a different person. And even if that different person is changed in a very trivial way, I think that almost all of us get changed by art, even if just in the sense of having a flame burning under us now, or in the sense of being excited about doing something else, or whatever small way. I think art is the kind of thing that changes someone. And I think that that in itself is a therapy. And I think seeing the option of art therapy in general arising now is really fantastic, particularly though creating art. The enjoying art and having it change you is awesome, truly. And I don't think we appreciate that enough as people. And I don't think the mental health sector appreciates that even remotely enough by far. But I think we as people have to start by appreciating that more, and by pushing that more, and by talking about that more, and by sharing the things in which that we experience from art more. I think there's so much power to it that we're really not acknowledging. But I think too, just creating art, even if you don't share it, even if it's just for you, even if you create, I was trying to find a little figurine that I had on my desk. I like to sculpt things sometimes that I don't share with other people. It's just for me that I like making them. I've cleaned up my desk. It's a tragedy. But like having little, even if you're just working some air dry clay or the more complicated polymer clays, don't use your regular oven if you do that, please. Side tangent. Buy a really, really cheap oven. Don't put it in with your food, okay? It's plastic. But if you have to cook it to seal it, that's what I'm talking about. It's a plastic clay, okay? Just side tangent, but important one. But even buying cheap air dry clay and just starting to build something in your hands, I think can be really powerful element. And I've been talking a few months ago about doing that sort of stuff when I talk to my therapist. And I did talk about how sculpting little things really helped, I think, get things off my mind and put things out of your mind, very specifically, in a literal sense. You know, if you sculpt a little figurine and you can hold it in your hand, you can view it as a kind of, not an out-of-body experience, but an out-of-mind sort of way of thinking. And you can see that, and you can see that in a completely different light, again, also literally, which is a very powerful thing to do. So I think even if you're not an artist, being able to create art and using that as therapy, and then being able to build up to a place in which that you want to share it with other people is really cool. That's what I first started to do with my books. I didn't realize that when I wrote my first book at 18, but I realized that when I was a lot older, and a lot of my stories had very, very similar heartbeat. Very different stories, but very similar heartbeat that kept, I think, resonating with things that I didn't know I was writing. And I think that's the power of art, is that it can escape even the artist, but particularly the person who sees the art. I think we can lose ourselves in it, and in creating it, and in enjoying it. But you can also find yourself in art. Yeah. You can also find yourself in art, and I think that is why art is so powerful. Sorry, I had to check on the little one. But it's one of the ways that I think that art keeps giving and giving and giving, is not just to the artist, but also to the person who reviews it. But yeah, you don't have to share art for it to be art. You don't have to share therapy for you to know that you've made progress. And I think that being able to sculpt, hold, and view and turn something around can be very powerful. Just like, if you're stuck thinking of yourself in a specific image, like if you're stuck thinking that you're a child, sculpting yourself as a child and putting it in your hand and saying, look, that's not me. It's a specifically different little creature now, because I'm holding it's in my hand. You can have this separation of perception about how you feel about yourself and about how you feel about your problems. But yeah, I definitely want more topics, more opinions on this topic. How do you guys feel about art? Do you view it as something that you can use to be transformative? Do you view it as something that's therapeutic and powerful and significant and just really changing? Do you view it as a way that you can take control of really complicated and otherwise overwhelming elements? Really want to hear what you guys think. And again, if this is a topic that you guys want to hear, please put a like on the video so I know that this is a topic that I should more explore. If you have a tangent from this topic that you want to explore, tell me in the comments so I can know to start talking about that and asking about that. What you guys want to talk about is what I want to talk about. I definitely want to get this done dialogue started, and I want to know what you guys think. So tell me what you think. If you want to continue to have me on the platform, give me a sub. Tell me that you want me to be here, because I'm still not sure if I fit here. So tell me what you think. Love to hear from you guys. Okay, see you later. Bye.